From an American woman's perspective, I can imagine that it's not having as many freedoms, not having, as many freedoms of speaking and dressing and, expressing yourself.
I imagine it's not very good. They don't have any rights.
I don't know much about Turkey or the women in Turkey, and I would think that I have more freedoms. If they're between Iran and Iraq, I would think that they're a lot more limited as far as education and freedom.
I guess based on what I know about Turkey, which is that it has a secular-based government, or a more secular-based government, and that there was that one incident, I guess, a couple months ago where one of the government officials, who was a woman, couldn't wear her headscarf in the assembly or something like that, right? I mean, do you remember that? And so it was almost like they were secular to the extreme.
I always imagine that it's kind of a bit of a repressive place to live. Maybe, and I'm not sure. It could just be from household to household, but from what you see on the news and what you get from news magazines, it's kind of what I've gotten.
I feel that we don't have any idea about what a woman's life is in Turkey, because I don't think our media ever portrays it, and if they did, they wouldn't portray it. There would be a bias, there would be a slant, because right now we want to believe that Muslims are oppressive to women and that it's something that needs to be changed. And so I don't think I have any good idea about what's going on in Turkey.
How would we know? Unless you see a really good, well-made documentary from somebody in Turkey.
As the warm summer sun slowly ascends above the Istanbul horizon, a young Muslim woman prepares for another week of work. She begins the morning by reading a news magazine. Most of Istanbul's population starts the day much later, but Canan is a teaching assistant at Başakşehir, a local university. Every day she must leave for work before 7 a.m. Turkey has the 8th highest percentage of smokers in the world, with 44% of its citizens smoking cigarettes. Canan is no different. We will travel with Canan through the smog-filled streets of Istanbul, Turkey, and remove the smoky misconceptions surrounding this very modern, yet ancient city. As the sounds of the Muslim morning prayer slide slowly into the distance of the Bosphorus River, Canan continues her commute to work.
My name is Canan Balan. I'm 26 years old and am working as a teaching assistant at Başakşehir University. Başakşehir is also where I received my bachelor's degree in film art. I live on the Asian side of Istanbul and work on the European side. The institution has just moved to the center of Beşiktaş. Beşiktaş is located not far from the Bosphorus River. There are many different types of transportations here. Every day I take a ferry to cross the river.
Turkey's location gives it control of one of the region's most important waterways. The European and Asiatic parts of Turkey are separated by a narrow channel, referred to locally as the Straits. The channel is made up of the Bosphorus, the Sea of Marmara, and the Dardanelles. It is the outlet of the Black Sea. The ferry arrives in Beşiktaş. Başakşehir University is only a few minutes from the dock. The crowd from the boat quickly disperses. It is a beautiful walk from the dock to the university. In the morning hours, the streets and alleyways of Istanbul are strangely silent. Taverns and nightclubs are usually open until 4 a.m. The official unemployment rate in Turkey is 12%, which is more than 1 out of every 10 people. Canan's 2-hour journey has ended, and the workday is ready to begin.
At the university, I assist the film and TV department courses, graduation projects, film criticism, and analysis of film culture. Last semester, I assisted the film theory class and gave sight, sound, and motion classes on my own. In addition to these courses, I have administrational responsibilities as well. I am the assistant coordinator of the MA program and am in the organizational conference committee. The conference will be held in the French Cultural Center at the end of June. The theme this year is From Westernization to European Union, Modernization, Cinema, and Viewing. I'm working on a speech that I will give at the center.
Every day when Canan is not teaching a class, she spends many hours in her office with her co-workers.
Uze Uzimas is a TV and film assistant like me, but has not begun her PhD yet. She assists film history, Turkish film, and world cinema classes. Uzla Munsal is in the public relations department. She teaches media and globalization. She will soon be studying for her PhD at a city university in London. Simye Gokske is in the visual communications department as well. She will be studying for her PhD at Istanbul Technical University this fall. However, she will continue her work here at the university.
Canan's hectic work schedule consists of grading student papers, making calls, and organizing projects and presentations. The day speeds along while the faces of many different American superheroes watch her work. As the Wednesday lunch hour rolls around, the past days seem like a blur. Today, Canan needs some time away from the university. She'll go out for lunch in the city that has been both her home and place of work all her life. Outside on the cobblestone streets, seagulls can be heard flying near the Bosphorus River. There are no garbage cans in Istanbul, so the streets and alleys are cleaned every morning before 10 o'clock. American influences are everywhere in Istanbul, especially arts and entertainment. The only commotion is made by a flock of pigeons pecking for scraps. As the noon lunch hour approaches, the quiet city streets and alleyways slowly begin to come alive. Turkey's population has over 73 million citizens, with 16 million living inside Istanbul. Over 1,000 immigrants come into the city every day. lively city streets of Istanbul may seem overwhelming to outsiders, but these streets have been home to Canan her entire life.
I was born and raised in Istanbul. This is a beautiful city that I fell in love with when I was a little girl. Most of my Muslim friends at the university come from outside the city. It was the first time for them to see metropolitan life. They saw that things were very different in the city and thought perhaps the people lived a decadent lifestyle. Kerchiefs are not allowed to be worn at the university, so Muslims that practiced must remove their head veil. Being from Istanbul, I never had those big city problems. Because of the city's cultural diversity, I grew up with friends of many different races and religions.
Today, Canan has chosen a small restaurant nestled in the corner of two small alleyways, far away from the noisy, busy main streets of Beşiktaş.
We have lots of alternatives for lunch within walking distance. Sometimes I go to the coast, or we eat in the big market, which provides a different atmosphere than that of our office. Turkish meals consist of lamb, beef, chicken, or kebab, along with vegetables, salads, pastas, and rice.
As Canan drinks her tea, she begins to experience a feeling of nervousness. This Friday is the day she has been both anticipating and dreading. Friday, Canan will discover whether she is accepted to study for her PhD at the University of St. Andrews in Scotland. She knows that the letter she is expecting will have a huge impact on her life. If she is accepted, she will spend the majority of the next 5 years in Scotland. The tense moment is broken by a phone call from Canan's director and producer, Nurda Arca, a famous Turkish documentarian. In addition to her work at Bahçeşehir University, Canan is also a scriptwriter for a documentary project.
This documentary is about a revolutionary Sufi or Muslim mystic named Shikai Bedran, a 14th century mystic whose egalitarian ideals led him to form an ill-fated rebellion against the Ottoman Empire's sultan. I've been filming interviews with his followers. Yes, he still has followers. I've also been hunting down archival footage from various places for my research. There are 5 people who work for this documentary project. Our director and producer, Nurda Arca, historical consultant, Jamal Kafadar. I am responsible for the script. The camera and editor is Toge Senop, and the assistant director is Tuse Osen. We've been working on this project for more than 2 years.
As Wednesday transforms into Thursday, Canan makes her way to the interview. The setting for the interview is the Bosphorus River,